All right, so we are going to show the Saloon Garage recreational / pullers harness today. This is a bare bones harness designed to utilize a factory style key switch, but basically only give you everything that you need to start, run, charge, and stop the engine. If you're putting a command into like an 82 series tractor. This is basically just a command in an 82 series setup. And it's bare bones, so it has none of the safety features or any of that. It does include an inline fuse as its own precautionary measure to save its own harness. But if you're running a puller tractor, you probably don't have all the factory safety switches intact because you don't need them. So this is the harness here. It comes with an 80-inch cable that's a 4-gauge cable. This is basically the exact same cable that we supply in the command swap adapter kit. It's nice welding wire. It's nice and easy to move around. It's got a lot of small strands instead of a couple thick ones. And everything in the harness is labeled. So right here you see this one says, that's the CH starter post, so that's the command engine starter post with a 5/16 ring. And these are sealed up. These are nice connections, professionally crimped and sealed up. So they're not gonna corrode or do anything funky. And then this one's labeled the battery. So this will replace your main positive feed to the tractor and the engine. Then we have a 4-way key switch or 4-position key switch. So you have your off, your lights, and run, then just your run, and then your start. So this is like the newer style switch that has 6 terminals on the back. And then we have a factory connector to go to the switch, so you don't have a loose wire at each terminal. Everything's using factory packard connectors here, just like it should, so it should operate properly. This circuit here is your ground that you'll attach to the command. So that gives a ground to the key switch to kill the spark. And then we've included in this one an auxiliary circuit, which would basically be like the lights circuit would have been. So it is independent of the run circuit, so it doesn't have to be on when the key switch is in the run position. You can flip it back and turn basically like you're turning on lights, but you could turn on anything that you want to. So since that circuit's there, we add that as a 12 volt and label it as a 12 volt accessory wire. Don't have to use it. If you don't use it, just snip it off and you're done. So that's the key switch side. On the command side, we have power coming from the command starter, and also labeled CH starter post, so that will go right with your main battery cable. It comes down to the command. And then you have this particular circuit on this customer's machine is a 4-way connector, not a 5-way connector. It says CH engine connector, and he only really wanted 2 of those circuits live. So in this one we have a kill the spark, and we have a charge the battery, basically. So this part can vary depending on your machine. Like this side of the harness actually can change a little bit depending on your machine. So we always like to double check and make sure that we have the proper connector and pinouts and everything for your motor. So be prepared to have pictures and documentation of some sort. We can kind of do a little bit of reverse engineering. We can look into wiring diagrams and stuff like that if you can't figure it out. So here is the ground that I was talking about at the key switch. So this just populates to engine ground, and I'll show you how that hooks up. And then here is a starter solenoid wire. And this will also possibly not be a loose wire on your harness, depending on what you have. This particular arrangement here used a loose wire to the starter instead of running it through the main engine connector. But everything is labeled. This is a sealed fuse here, so it's got a nice cap on it and comes pre-populated with a 20 amp fuse. All of the connections we use here are also sealed in adhesive, so they don't go bad. Same thing with the starter wire. And same thing with the engine ground. And that's it. And we cover everything in a nice braided wire loom so it looks professional and prevents any abrasions or cuts or anything like that. I mean, this harness will last the life of the tractor, basically. So yeah, hopefully this helps you understand what this is all about. We do custom builds for harnesses too, so if you decide you want something similar but not quite the same, we can accommodate. Yeah, I just wanted to show you the bare bones tractor puller harness, and yeah, hopefully this helps. Thanks.